Howdy, folks. I hope you're well. Nice to see a lot of people on. Already 50 people on. That's what we like. Excellent. Welcome to RPITV Show. I'm looking forward to this one. I look forward to everyone, but I'm looking forward to this one because later on we have a great guest on in Shawn Hunter. Shawn's going to be on around 8:30, just so everybody knows. He's going to be on around 8:30. Thank you to everybody that's watching. Remember to please share with your friends. Please share into any groups that you think would like to see this. Share it on your timeline, and let's get as many people watching as possible. I know for a fact, because I've seen some of the questions that are coming in already for Shawn, that this is going to be an informative guest. It's going to be an informative interview for sure. If you have any questions live for Shawn, then feel free to ask. Just put your question in the comments, and I will be aiming to get through each and every question, time permitting. So this is probably the last of the results that we're going to do this season. Probably. Obviously, any one-off race results that happen we'll cover, but this is probably the last of the regular racing results that we're going to have. So let's kick off by doing that. Thank you to everybody that shared. I know people have shared because we already have 64 people watching already, which is great. Thank you very much. I knew this was going to be a good one. So thank you to everybody that shared, and for anybody coming on, please do share. So I'm going to get the results done, and then I'm going to say hi and see who's talking and see who's on. So first of all, let me get my screen up properly so I can see it. So first of all, over at the Barnsley Federation, flown on the 14th of September. So this is an older one, but I didn't catch it last week. Congratulations to N and A Gaunt at the breeder buyer. So this was the breeder buyer that came in. It was the Barnsley Federation Futurity race. It's the biggest race in the Yorkshire calendar. Congratulations to N and A Gaunt. It was flown by, and Mr. and Mrs. Snaith bred the bird. Coming in second was R. Richmond. Weston and Cox came third. HW Firth and Son came fourth, and Allen and Cook came fifth. Well done to everybody there. Racing from Barley Cove on the 20th. Congratulations to Stuart Maloney, who took top spot there. Distance of 191 miles with a 13:25 velocity. And Frank McEnroe came in second. Stuart came back in on third. JBM Russell fourth. And Frank McEnroe came back in on fifth there. Stephen O'Brien came in sixth. Eamon McKinney seventh. Frank McEnroe, Stuart Maloney, and Frank McEnroe dominating the top 10 there as well. Over at the Rathfarnham and District Club, 2 members sent 20 birds. And J&K Birmingham and Sons took the top 10 spots there. Well done to you two. Velocity of 12:41. 7 members sent 348 birds at the MHS. Don't know what that is, but obviously it's up north because it's Greg Marshall's club. It's and he took the top 2 spots. 348 birds, 7 members there. Top 2 spots there. He took flying 131 miles, velocity of 1888. Top 2 spots there. Was dominated 3rd to 27th position. Well done to Greg, and well done to the Stubbs brothers as well. Over at the Fingless Racing Pigeon Club, Mr. George Colley took top spot there, flying 196 miles, with Derek Larkin taking second and third, Liam Donnelly and Son taking fourth and fifth, Joel Colley coming in at sixth, and Darren Larkin going and dominating seventh to 10th. Well done to you guys. At the Kildonan district, Jerry O'Mara and family took the top 2 spots, flying 201 miles. Don't know where that was from, but 201 miles at a velocity of 1371. And Mark Harnett dominating from 3rd to 8th. Jamie O'Mara coming back in 9th to 11th. So those guys dominating that over there. We've got Zabalas and Thorpe. Herbie Thorpe there taking top 8 with his partner, and Malice Levery taking 9th and 10th. 2 members sent 66 birds there, so well done to you, Herbie. They're the results for this week, and probably the results for the season. Like I said, I'll be covering results from anywhere in the world, so any of the countries that are racing while we're not are glad to be given a shout out and covered. And of course, I will mention in any of the one-off race results that happen in the winter time. So we will look forward to better results, more results coming in starting next season. It all starts again. 75 people watching already, and Shawn is not even on yet. So apologies for those that are tuning in, waiting to see Shawn. He's going to be on around 8:20, probably 8:30. He's got his kids to sort out and family stuff to do. So he's going to be on from 8:30. But we've got lots to talk about in the meantime. I have a couple more shout outs, not necessarily results, but shout outs. But before I do that, let's say hello to everybody that's joining. We've got a lot of people joining, so forgive me. I'm not going to shout you out for coming on, because I would be babbling on. If you would like me to say hello, or you've got something to say, put a comment in there. And I will, of course, acknowledge. But there are so many people joining tonight that I'm not even going to attempt to shout out to everybody, because one, that would probably be boring for everybody to watch, and two, it would be a mammoth job. That's just reminded me, because I've just seen Tom Swift join. Actually, that reminds me, because Tom's helping me out. Tom Swift lives in Derby. And Tom sent me in a result, and that didn't get read out. So what's that all about then? Let me just go back into that a minute. 1 second, folks. So Tom Swift lives in Derby, and he's helping me out with the Racing Pigeon Network, the new version of Racing Pigeon Network, which we started working on. But the harsh reality is I've got a lot going on before Algarve, when I fly out to Algarve on Thursday. And if I'm absolutely honest, I'm in spreadsheet heaven, well, hell, dealing with spreadsheets and birds and photos and what have you. Why have I not got that? That is really bugging me now. I'm going to get it if it kills me. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Tom, because he had a great result in the Derby South. Tell you what I'll do. I'll just go to Facebook. 1 second, guys. So yeah, so the Racing Pigeon Network is being worked on. We actually got the bones of it all set up and what have you. Tom's going to be doing some technical stuff that I can't do, because we have about 250 members in there already. He's going to be helping bring those in and what have you. So the reality is I just need to clone myself, and then I will be able to get more work done. So I'm not going to show it on the screen because it's a small image anyway. But congratulations to DNA Smith in the Holbrook Flying Club. This is the Derby District South Road, Southfed, Derby Southfed. D. Smith taking the top 7 spots there, and I believe it's K. Matthews taking 8 at the Holbrook FC, 9th at Holbrook FC. Well done to you, Tom, and I believe it's your father you race with. Also, while I fired up Facebook for that, I've just had another message come in to Mark Dodder at the the Doddy Valley Racing Pigeon Club from Barley Cove Resort. Congratulations to Liam Rafferty on taking his 17th win of the season. Wow, well done, Liam. Excellent. Well done to you. Right, so that's the result. So like I said, I'll be reading out other results as they come in over the closed season from other areas of the world. I wanted to give out a quick acknowledgement and mention to this was posted on Facebook earlier. I wanted to do it. Somebody asked me to give a shout out, and I was only too happy. So I'm basically reading from the Facebook post. On behalf of Tucker Daniels and Henry Byrne, the results of Alan Best's draws is the following. I'm going to give you the results of the draw so you can see it. First was B&C Bonnie from Pat Byrne. That's a bird from Pat Byrne. You can see the results in there. Alan and Jacinta would like to thank everybody who gave birds and supported the raffle for all their kindness people have shown over the last few months. They've been overwhelmed with the support of Pigeon Men and send their love to all. On behalf of myself and everyone who helped organise this at short notice, and the lads who gave the young birds, that's Tucker writing that. If you would like to see the video of the raffle being that happened earlier on, I'm going to you can see the video there. I've just shared a link to the Facebook live recording that happened. So there we go. There's a shout out there. I will do a couple more. There's one more thing I want to talk about, but I will do that later, if that is okay. So we are at 85 people watching now. Shawn's going to be on shortly. And what I want to talk about, a couple of things beforehand. I've got a little plug that I want to give. If you are on YouTube or you have a Google account, I would like to ask you to go and subscribe to the RPI YouTube channel. Every video that we do now is going to be on YouTube, and over a period of time, the next couple of weeks, all being well, not only am I going to be broadcasting on Facebook Live, I will be simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube. But every video, RPI video that's ever been done, pretty much, is now on YouTube. And if you can go, we've got about 130 subscribers now. But if you would do me the favor of going and subscribing to the YouTube channel, you can go at oh, that link's wrong for a start off, Mark. So let me fix that. So you can go to rpilinks.com/go/YouTube. rpilinks.com/go/YouTube. And that will give you the subscription and see all of the videos that we do. And like I said, shortly, we will be simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube as well, and I'll also be trying out to simultaneously broadcast on Twitter as well. So 92 people watching now. Thank you very much for everybody. And again, anybody that's coming in, please do share. Let's get a nice 100 people watching, or over if we can, 100 people watching for when Shawn comes on. That would be really good. Thank you. So, right, I just want to talk about something while we're waiting for Shawn, get Shawn on, what have you. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. One of them is loft security. Increasingly, we hear a lot about birds getting stolen. I'm going to put together, as soon as I can, a post on Racing Pigeon International about relatively inexpensive security measures and technology that's out there. I covered a theft of a bird on RPI last week, and the reality is it's hard to potentially find these birds, but I think there's things people can be doing. The technology out there now is relatively cheap. You know, you can get a webcam covering your lofts and your garden for 25 quid. I'm going to be doing that, and I think it's something we need to look at, because, you know, it is more common than it used to be, and it's always happened. I remember it happening when I was a kid, but it just seems to be more prevalent than it used to be. So I'm going to be doing that. So if anybody's got any tips, anybody's using any security devices in their lofts already, fire them over to me and I will look at them. I've already got some ideas of what I'm going to put into the article, but fire them over to me and I will include any tips you've got that are worthwhile putting in, and we will we'll put together, you know, just some helpful links and tips for what people can do. 108 people watching now. Thank you to everybody that shared it. I know lots of people have shared it. The numbers go up every time I ask people to share it. So, like I said, we will be. I'll be doing something on loft security and technology-wise, what people can use. Again, relatively inexpensive stuff that people can use. You know, you can get remote alarm systems now that are completely wireless for less than 50 quid these days. So I'm going to be covering that as soon as I've got time. Like I say, it's about trying to clone myself, really. The other thing I wanted to mention briefly is the European Eagle Owl Project auction that we're going to be doing. We are going to be set in October. Realistically, it'll be mid-October onwards, probably the third week of October, I'm thinking at the moment. We already have about 15 birds pledged for that. For those of you that know about the European Eagle Owl Project, go and have a look at my previous video about a link to that now, so people can go straight to it. It just gives you an introduction about what Sorry, guys. That was not good timing. I hope you can see me again. I'm just going to wait for the delay. Shawn, we're not live at the moment, mate. I've just had a power cut literally 5 minutes before you came on. All right, mate. Will do, mate. Will do. Guys, sorry about that. We don't get many power cuts here, but we've got really bad weather outside, really bad weather. And I've had a power cut right in the middle of the show. So apologies for that. I know I'm back online now because I can see myself. We crack on, and I've still got 90 people watching, even though I wasn't here. Okay, so let's crack on again. So 90 people watching. Thank you very much for that. One quick thing before we crack on, I just wanted to share, if you haven't yet heard about what we're doing with the European Eagle Owl Project, just go to that link and you can check it out. Right, so we've recovered. We're back online. We've still got 90 people watching. Please share it again. Like I said, we're going to be bringing Shawn on in a minute, and not a lot can do. I suppose what I do need for future is I need a power backup to run various things. But that's not happened. We very rarely have power cuts here. And there you go. These things happen. Live shows. Right. So we will get the viewers back, I'm sure, when they realize we're back. But we've still got 90 people watching, which is great. So again, thank you to everybody that shared, and please just share it out. We're going to be bringing Shawn on now in a minute. And I haven't caught up with any comments yet, but I will. I will as soon as I will later on, I promise. So what we've got here now is we've got somebody that I met for the first time in June, I think it was. I think it was June. And I started speaking to him, and immediately was struck by what a nice guy he is. So I'd like to welcome Shawn Hunt. Shawn, how are you, mate?
How's it going, Mark? Yeah. Just hello to everyone watching as well, yeah. See, there's good viewers there tonight, Mark.
Yeah, I know it would be a good one. Even with the power cut, we're back up to 100 people watching, mate. So that's not bad. I can't believe I had a power cut 5 minutes before you come on, but it's all good. We've still got the people watching. People still actually held on while I got everything rebooted, so that was good. So how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, Mark. Very good. Yeah, just finished the racing season. We finished up last Friday. Our Barley Cove Open, and so we've a lot more time on our hands now. We're just looking forward to going out to the Algarve. We're flying out on Thursday, so we look forward to a good weekend over there, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I've never been, obviously, yet, but I'm told it's probably one of the biggest gatherings in Europe, biggest one-off race around, and I'm looking forward to going down. I think a lot of people from the UK and Ireland will be there.
Yeah, there's always a huge crowd out there, and the Algarve, well, both races, but particularly the Saturday race seems to be definitely one of the best and biggest one-off races in Europe, you know. So we have pizzas in both races, and we're really looking forward to it. And like everyone else competing, we hope to have a bit of luck on the weekend and come away happy, man, with a few bob in our pockets, you know. So,
well, if anybody's going to have the luck, it will be the Irish. You know that.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right, mate. Well, thank you for agreeing to do this. Like I said in the intro, I think it was June we first met. We talked about your one-off race and stuff, and I've been lucky enough to come over to you and see you twice. I've seen you stock loft twice. You were good enough to show my son Zandy around, who I know is watching tonight. And we've got questions for you. And the premise of what I want to talk to you about is how now, after this season, you've managed to cultivate a family of birds that are winning in their 5th generation.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're forming our own family of pigeons now, just over the last 10 years or so, you know, and we've been blessed with the pigeons that we've got, and very fortunate to have acquired some super pigeons we have, you know, and we've established our family, you know, through a hard selection now, year after year, and in the stock lot end of things are just getting better and better, you know, as the selection process goes on year after year. So yeah, that's it now. And as we said, I know I done a little video there. Obviously, you've seen it yourself, Mark. Last weekend, which was our second last young bird race, and we had a winner, which was a winning pigeon from a 5th generation, bred back to a super pigeon, Iraqi. You know, he's a nice August spelling pigeon, and as we said in the video, yeah, it's super pigeon, and I knew it was coming, you know, but just sometimes it's hard to get it. As I'd only raced one pair we had of 5th generation pigeons in my race team, you know, and so the chances of winning there with a particular pigeon or 2 pigeons is you know, slim to none. But yeah, I wasn't surprised, but I was delighted, to see and get a 5th generation pigeon. And I know as the generations go on, and you know, these pigeons, they will keep producing down to 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th generation. But this will all take years and take time. But I know this is coming, as I know the quality is in the pigeons, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think the key to it is in general, broad terms? I mean, not asking for specifics yet. We'll get into that. But if you could summarize it as to why you think that's happened. Obviously, the quality of the pigeons that you started with back in generation 1 have got a big effect. But you don't, you know, that's still a selection process. That's still a choice of breeding. That's, you know, what would you summarize it as?
Yeah, well, the simple way to summarise it is winners breed winners, you know, and that's what we base our stock loft around, is winning pigeons, you know, performance pigeons. And this is what's happening for us. Like that pigeon that won for us 2 weeks ago, I think it was Castletown, the second last young bull race of the season. That was bred from a winning pigeon, a pigeon that won 2 fours for us last year. 2 fours for the last year, and that was bred from a winning pigeon also, which was Trigger. Trigger was the best young bird in the Irish Outlaw Fairly, the first club, second open. He was bred from the ace pigeon, the Rocket, and the Rocket was bred from an ace pigeon, the Racket. So it's just winning pigeons breed winning pigeons. Winners breed winners, and that's the philosophy we work off, Mark, you know, and it's proven true, and it will always stand the test of time, you know.
Yeah, do you believe, or do you follow in any way, shape? Well, this is a personal question of mine because it's something I've been interested in since I got back in. What's your thoughts on eye sign?
Yeah, well, we wouldn't be big believers in eye sign, you know. I do look at the eye, but we wouldn't follow any belief, you know. We base everything on performance, you know. So while you might have a pigeon that looks like a superstar, you know, the basket will tell you the truth, and that's it. So the basket tells all, you know. So regardless of eye sign, shape, size, anything, you know, you find out what you have once you put them in the basket, and you know where you are then, and you know.
But have you noticed anything? Again, continuing the personal question until we get to others. Have you noticed anything about the eyes of the winners, or is it something that they've won, so it doesn't really matter?
Yeah, no, the eye sign now, as I said, we're not believers in the eye sign, Mark, you know, so it's strictly performance from us, you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, how we judge it. It's not something we look for. And we do, obviously, I will just have a look at the eye out of curiosity, but I'd never base any selection or anything on the eye sign. You know, I know others are believers in this, and I'm not saying it's not
No, it's each to their own.
It's not their way. You know, yeah, each their own. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and with regards to breeding, what's your preferred strategy with regards to like inbreeding, line breeding? What do you, winners to winners, but how do you mix it up? Because you've not got, you're someone that's, I've seen your stock lofts, you're smashing the results, but you've not got a massive operation there as a stock loft. Essentially it's a, and this is a compliment, it's a back garden stock loft. It's not a big operation that some people would have in your position of winning and what have you. How do you go about pairing?
Yeah, well, as you know, as you said, anyway, we are a backyard stock loft. We're not a big commercial setup, so we would be very selective with the pigeons and with the performance pigeons, and just with me father's experience and that, and myself, we would just have a look and put our best judgment. But the basis of it is winners to winners and best to best. That is the theory we work off. Sometimes, most times it works, but at the times it doesn't. Then we will just change then the following season and try new pairings. That's it, exactly, Mark.
But you've got the knack. It's that experience of your father, and yeah. I mean, I've seen those birds in there, and those, they are stunning, really stunning. So, right, let's get on with some people's questions, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So we've got Dave Ward's asked, can you get Shawn to tell us about any feeding systems and what generally in feeding what you do?
Yeah, well, look, we have a very simple feeding system. A lot of people would know about our feeding system, which is always being high in protein. We use our own mixes, which are from Ronnie Van Tilburg in our own brand, the Corn Store brand, But the feeding system is built to peak every weekend. It's high in protein early in the week, and then we move to fats and carbs towards the end of the week, which would be our energy mixes and some energy-based products and that, So that would be the essence of it, yeah. So it's the feeding system we use is built to peak for the race every weekend, And that's it. When we look at the pigeons early in the week, towards the end of the week, there would always be a big difference towards, say, Thursday, Friday. They're ready to go, and we just have them chomping at the bit, so to speak, So that's it, high in protein early in the week and fats and carbs towards the end of the week.
Okay, mate. Thank you very much. Scott Barron says, when evaluating a pigeon, what's the first thing you look for? Obviously, other than its results, but if it was a new pigeon coming in, what would you look for?
How does it mean? Sorry, evaluate?
Yeah, what would you? If you got any, other than its results?
Yeah, well, obviously, anything we look for, we do bring in now and again something to try against our own pigeons, as we don't want to be left behind, So we will always bring in something to try, and we will just look from a proven family of winning pigeons, that are breeding winning pigeons, not only for the fancier but for other fanciers around. So this is what we would look for, and the winners in the generations of pigeons, especially.
Fair enough, mate. Gary Tomlinson says, well said, Shawn. Eyesight means nothing. Winner to winner, and the basket's the judge. That's why you're probably the best loft in Dublin. Peter Dodd, Shawn's kind of already answered your question. Peter says, winners to winners. What about if they're a different strain? I mean, strain doesn't really mean anything to you, does it, as such?
No, certainly doesn't, Mark. And that's it. It's winners to winners. And as I said, we do try. We always bring in something to try against our own. So that's it, yeah, regardless of strain,
Okay, mate. Steve Hughes asks, do you use any antibiotics? If you do, would you say you can't race well without them?
I'm a big believer in non-antibiotics, yeah, definitely a big believer. As we got into when I got into pigeon racing myself, I didn't know a whole lot about antibiotics and how to use them and so forth. So when I started off, I was using very little. I looked into it, done me little bit of research, and I know a lot of what you read will be 3 every week. 3 for respiratory this week, canker the next week. But as I started off, we started doing very well with the pigeons, and I wasn't giving the pigeons any antibiotics. And I just found personally myself, anytime I ever did use antibiotics, there was always a little bit of a dip in the performance of the pigeons. So I've steered away from the antibiotics, and all the success we've had, I've gone through whole young board seasons we're not given any antibiotics, because the health of the pigeons have been right, and I just think this can affect the form of the pigeons. Now, if you need to treat and there is an issue, of course, you know, which I would do myself if I see something in the loft and I have a pigeon or whatever it may be, I would use antibiotics at them times, But other than that, my own preference is to treat pre-season.
We lost you for a second then. We got up to pre-season, Shawn. Sorry, it froze a minute.
Yes, sorry. So as I was saying, my own preference with antibiotics is to treat pre-season, which would just be the basics. We'd worm with canker and I'd respiratory before we go for their first training toss. Then once we start training, and if everything is good and the pigeons are coming well and there's nothing, and if they're telling me they're healthy, I will just leave them alone, And I've done this. I've gone through whole young board seasons with no antibiotics, So I'm a big believer in that.
Okay.
Big believer in non-antibiotics,
The next question, which is kind of tied in a way, but from a health point of view, Stephen Milner says, fat eye has been rife in the UK and Ireland in the last 4 or 5 years. My question in 2 parts. Have you experienced fat eye with your own birds? And when would you use a preventative, and how would you deal with it in your own loft? Thanks.
Yeah. No, as I said about us being non-believers in antibiotics. Now, obviously, if you have got fat eye or any sort of thing, it has to be addressed. But we have been very fortunate that we haven't had any serious health issues, and we haven't seen fat eye in our own lofts, as we have a very strong immunity in our own boards. And we're in the loft, so we've been very fortunate ourselves. But speaking to other fanciers around, I know it's been fairly rampant in the last year or two. And from what I know, there's a very good vaccine for the herpes vaccine. And I know a lot of fanciers are using this. And what they say is they're getting very good. The fellas that are using this are going on then, they're not really have the problems with the fat eye, So that's all I can say about that. I haven't personally experienced it, and hopefully
great.
I don't.
Thank you for that, mate. All right, so we've got some questions that came in before tonight. Craig John Wilkinson asked tips with the hood and roundabout cocks and hens to keep them going for 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, well, we don't really fly our with a hood cocks, but we fly our roundabout system. That's what we fly, and it's roundabout hens for us, We get the hens very keen. My father would really look after the motivation of the pigeons, and what he does with the hens, he will have the 2 hens paired to the 1 cock, so we would work the jealousy system, and that's what we would do for the old board team, Regards the young boards, I know we didn't ask about young boards, but we just fly the young boards to the purchase, to the loft, so we just get the young boards very keen and to the love of home,
Okay, mate. Dave Beresford said, could you ask Shawn about training old birds and young birds? How many times is best to train once birds have done a few races?
Yeah, well, look, it's obviously young boards and old boards have to be trained very differently, Personally speaking, we always train our young boards very well, On a good day, we will go down the road twice with them, weather permitting and providing everything is going good. Obviously, it's very different with regards to old boards, You may everybody has different theories. Our own is we will obviously train them very well pre-season, get the tosses in them before the first race. And then it depends how the season is going. It depends on weather, If the pigeons are coming well, the own method would be to ease off the pigeons, and I think this helps keep them in form, But if they're not going as well, I might just push them a little bit more, trying to get that little bit more out of the mark,
Okay, thank you, mate. Okay, next one we've got is Alan Knoll says, with your unbelievable performances onto the channel.
Sorry, Mark?
Alan Knoll says, with your unbelievable performances on the land, would you ever consider going to the channel?
I wouldn't personally. The channel doesn't interest me. Everything we do is set up and designed for sprint racing. Now our pigeons have had success for other fanciers across the channel. Like last year, we had a winning pigeon from 320 miles for Liam Frost in Liverpool, nearly 7,000 pigeons. That was one of my direct pigeons. And I've had numerous winners and reports from people crossing the channel with air boards. But as I said, Airloft is set up and everything we do is designed for sprint,
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't interest me, but maybe in a few years' time I might look at it,
It's interesting that they've done that though for other people, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting, and that's it. And as well, we've just started this year now to put some teams into the one-loft races ourselves, and so we will be confident that doing well in the one-loft races as we're getting these results from our pigeons, from other fanciers, So it's very interesting, and that's it. Yeah.
Dave Ward says thank you for the answer that you gave him. Stephen O'Brien asks, what's been the best standout performance pigeon you've ever raced?
Well, we have had some super performance pigeons, but really it's our back-to-back pigeon. He was a super pigeon, and he only had 3 races, First out with 9,000, and then the week after first out with 9,500. So it would be really hard for us to pick a better pigeon than him performance-wise. And we don't know what he would have went on to do, as we did stop him after that. We didn't give him the chance to go on and win again. But as I said, we do have some super performance pigeons there. Another one there we have a world class pigeon is the Baron Hen. She's a super pigeon. She's 4th in the Sarsfield Club. There's not another pigeon down there at the moment. Maybe in the history of the club there might be 1 or 2, but there's certainly not another pigeon alive at the moment with 4th out of the Sarsfield Club. She's the first federation. And then she's a daughter of the Rocket, which is she's the 3rd generation super pigeon, and we do have a lot of them, but she would be up there. Ruby Roo was another super pigeon as well. She's from a line of winning pigeons as well. She's a daughter of Ruby. She'd 4th fed, 3rd fed, I think 2 12 feds. They would. I'd say them 3 there would be the top 3 performance pigeons in Airloft. Unfortunately, the Baron Hen, obviously she's barren, she's not filling, but they are giving us now some super pigeons like that back-to-back pigeon. Last year he bred us the 1st federation pigeon from 9,000 pigeons, Paddy, and Paddy was also one of the Shoutouts Fed's best young board last year as well. So that's just proving the theory of winners breed winners,
Great, thank you, mate. Steve Hughes says thank you, Shawn. Paul Dalton asks, when sprinting, what's the most important? Sprint bloodlines, feed, or motivation? I guess the answer could be all, but I'll let you answer.
Yeah, well, of course, it's a combination of everything. But at the end of the day, the number one thing is the pigeons. If you don't have the pigeons, they're not going to do it. Like you can put the work in, you can get the feeding right, but if you don't have the pigeons to do the job, they're not going to do it and they're not going to perform. So the number one thing is you need the right pigeons without a doubt.
I mean, it's a building block thing, really, isn't it? You got, like you say, you got to start with the right birds. You got to feed them right. You got to train them right. But like you said, if you haven't got that foundation of the right birds, then you can be doing everything else right, but it's just not going to happen, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. That's it exactly. You do need a set. Obviously, you need a combination of everything. But at the end of the day, if you haven't got the pigeons, it's not going to happen for you.
You know what, mate? Stephen Milner says, thank you, Shawn. Anthony Bracken says, Shawn, do you think it's your cleaning regime that keeps the birds healthy and not needing to use antibiotics and what have you?
No, certainly not. Anybody that's been in air loft, you will see firsthand. We have grills on the floors with some deep litters and that. We're not big believers in cleaning out all the time. The lofts aren't spotless as such. Certainly with the young birds, this helps with the immunity. And as I said, we have a very good immunity built up within our pigeons. So certainly not the cleaning out, Anthony, yeah.
Thank you, mate. Dave Berster says, thank you. Steve Hughes says, are there any names of any products that you might use that you would say has notable benefits to the birds?
Products that we use, yeah. Look, well, I'm a very big believer of first-hand the Fraser's products. Like we're using these years and we have great success with them. Obviously the non-antibiotic products and but Fraser's has some super products. He's P3, he's PRP, and then he has energy-based products for towards the end of the week. He's super call is a super product as well. Has the feathering on the pigeons very soft and in excellent condition. So the Fraser's products I would highly recommend.
Thank you, mate. Darren Mooney says one of the best cocks on the channel this year is down from Shawn's pigeons.
Yeah, nice one. I'm not sure. Darren actually, yeah. Sorry, Darren was telling us that he had a very good channel pigeon was down off one of ours this year as well. Yeah, congratulations, Darren. And I know another fancier out of the club. I think the best young bird out of Darren's club as well was bred from our pigeons for Stuart Maloney. I think the pigeon won for him the weekend, and I think it was the champion young bird in the club. So congratulations, Stuart, as well. Yeah.
Stephen O'Brien says, thanks, Shawn. Superb pigeons with superb results. Paul Dalton says, thank you, Shawn. Right, so we've got a couple of people asking about the Wild Atlantic going into next year, mate.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions on that. And the first question, well, not specifically about the Wild Atlantic to start, but John O'Brien asks, does he see one-loft racing, communal racing growing more and more and back garden racing declining a bit more?
Well, I definitely believe that one-loft racing has a huge part to play in the future of pigeon racing, as it does seem to be getting, it's just difficult to look after pigeons every day with the way lifestyles are nowadays, there's so much going on in people's lives that I definitely would believe that a lot more people will be turning to one-loft races, as you don't have to look after the pigeons every day. You can still be involved in the sport, it will be a lot easier for people for them reasons and other reasons, and I think that's why the one-off races will be grown and have a huge part to play in the future of pigeon racing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, from being around you for the two times I've been there, you know, I know, you know, personally, you were looking forward to being able to spend more time on the birds once your Wild Atlantic had finished. That's, you know, that you were. That's not anything, you know. You weren't. It wasn't an issue to you, but from a point of view of the sheer amount of effort you put into those birds, I know. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but you were looking forward to getting back to your birds, and ultimately, with the results you've seen since you've had that time back, have proven that you need a lot of time. You know, to do this right, you've got to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's like everything, Mark. You know, if you don't give 100%, you won't get 100%. You know, unfortunately, we couldn't give 100% to our own pigeons this year. As we committed ourselves and done our very best.
You had 1,000 other ones. Because you have 1,000 other ones to look after.
Yeah, that's it exactly. You know, so yeah, that's it. You know, but it's the joys of pigeons as well. It depends what you're in pigeons for. You know, a lot of people would just be in pigeons for the love of pigeons, and it's to winning isn't be all and end all to everyone. You know, so there is people just look after that. Some fans just look after the pigeons, send the pigeons to the race for the enjoyment of pigeon racing, and for these type of fanciers, you know, it's different, you know. But for ourselves and other people competing and wanting to win, you know, it's all or nothing really, you know. You have to give it everything, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Got you there, mate. Right. So, and I think with regards to one-lofts, I think the biggest issue now compared to say 20, 30, 40 years ago, the idea that this modern era gives us more time, that's a load of bonkom. I think the biggest problem people have got these days is a lack of time. That's why I think one-loft racing is going to continue to thrive and grow. Personally, that's my personal opinion. And as I've also said many times on videos, I think it's a great way of introducing new people. Like during the broadcast of the live at your race, you know, we had non-flyers, we had wives and girlfriends, we had kids watching. We even had wives and girlfriends that previously hadn't even been interested in their partner's birds at all, but they were hooked by the day. And that's powerful, you know?
Yeah, without a doubt, 100%. That's it. As I sort of touched on it myself there, it's the modern day and age, you know, where people haven't got the time anymore, and everybody's living the hectic lifestyles. So that's it. And then with the power of the internet nowadays as well, you're out into the wide audience, and everyone can see this, and it gives everyone a level playing field for even the people that love pigeons or people that don't love pigeons and they just want to compete and win. Everybody's on a level playing field, and anybody can win, which was just shown in our race, you know. With the lads that won the top prize and the 50,000, you know. So that's it. It was there for anybody to be won, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it. It's a level playing field as well. It doesn't matter on location. It doesn't matter on the flyer's ability. Obviously, it matters about the bird, but that's the one common thing that matters. But everything else, it's a completely level playing field, and that's what I like about it myself personally as well. So, some more questions we've got in. Would you entertain, or are you entertaining the idea of letting people send one bird for €150 moving forward?
No, we're not entertaining anything like that. It's a 3-bird team for €500. You know, that's that's the Wild Atlantic way. That's the phase and the size of the team. You know.
Okay, mate. Are there any changes or anything that are going to Wild Atlantic, or is it pretty much as it was this year going forward to next? Yeah,
pretty much as it was. You know, there'll be plenty of small changes behind the scenes that will make a big difference. You know, but regards, you know, everything will really be much the same. But obviously, we hope to run a much better operation in our second year. We're having the experience of the first year behind us. So it'll be a lot of small little things that we'll be doing differently for the benefit of the pigeons. And we just hope to run a much smoother and better operation in 2020.
Well, I think given your first year and the amount of birds you had entered, I think it was a pretty admirable thing for the first year. There's no other one-loft race that I know of that has started on such a big footing. Obviously, the guaranteed prize money made the difference with getting the amount of birds you got in, and it's just gonna grow from there. And it's put it on the map. It's it's certainly the Wild Atlantic's one that people are talking about. So it's all good, mate. I know we've spoke about this privately because I sent you a message, but I just want to confirm for everybody that the race point is staying the same next year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's staying the same next year. It is, Mark. Yeah, yeah. And as everyone knows, and any Irish fans are kind of attest to, it's a tough race point, which is what we want for the prize money that we're putting up. And the lads that had the first prize winner this year, was a very well deserved pigeon and a true test. A true test for such a big prize, So that's it, Mark.
I think it's the key. I think that's it. That bird that came in, and obviously the top, the top birds have proven themselves, and that's what it's about. Okay, mate. So one last question we've got here is, do you think that you should call your pigeons after your own name now? Now, this is something I was talking about when I first started out, that flyers in the UK and Ireland don't typically call their birds their own name, it's Joe Bloggs flying those birds, and that needs to change. So one of the questions come in is, do you think you should start calling them your own birds?
Yeah, well, look, personally, I am caught. When I'm speaking to people, I'd have fanciers on to me, and I'd be talking to fanciers, and I'd say, well, they're my pigeons, which they are. We've built our own family. We've built our own family now, and it is our family of pigeons and our strain of pigeons. These are pigeons that I'm breeding and I'm racing, so that's what they are. They're Shawn Hunter pigeons. But I know the mentality of Irish and UK fanciers. They all say, "Oh, well, what type of pigeons are you racing?" And then they will start throwing in the Belgium names, or they're from this strains and that strains. And of course, this has to. Of course, this has to change, and but that's it. I call them. I have my own family of pigeons now that we are very proud of, and that's that, Mark. Yeah,
you're right to as well, and that's what needs to happen. People need to start doing that. If they're successful birds like yours are, they need to start. That's ultimately what people do on the continent. It's not, it's ultimately, the new strain that comes out on the continent is just the latest guy that flew them very well. And ultimately, that's a bit of branding. But I think that's what we need to up the game over here. It's something I'm passionate about. One other quick question that's just come in from Damien Thomas Murphy. Will there be any plans to sort out transport for lads wanting to send from the rest of Europe? Irish men living in Sweden would love to send a team.
Yeah, well, at the moment, we are speaking to a number of agents across Europe, which we hope to confirm in the coming weeks. So, but Sweden, definitely, we will have a look at it. And if there's any questions and queries regarding the Wide Atlantic Way from any countries or anything at all, I can be contacted by email or phone number, which you can get me on my own Facebook or the Wild Atlantic Way Facebook page. You will get me directly on this. So if there's any queries or questions, don't hesitate to send us a PM, or even give us a call. My number is out there on the internet as well. And yeah, definitely. But we hope to have a big audience in next year from Sweden, as there's a lot of interest in air race in Ireland.
Cool, man. Thank you for that, mate. Really appreciated. We've had constantly about 110 people watching. We topped out at about 130. So there's massive interest. And I know this video is going to be one of the biggest live TV shows I've done. And thank you for being on. You were suggested last week when I WhatsApped you and asked you if you come on. Your name came up a few times. One of the last things I want to just give a mention of now, it isn't live yet, simply because I haven't managed to clone myself yet, and I'm a little bit behind. But ShawnHunt.com is going live soon. I aim to get it live before the Algarve, and I think that's connected with what we were talking about earlier. Your birds deserve to be called your family's name, and they are being. So all being well, subject to nothing too bad happening technically, ShawnHuntPigeons.com will be the new website for you. It'll be featuring all of your birds, all of the info on all of your main birds will be there. People will be able to contact you through that as well. And it's going to be a good site to feature what you're doing and what you're about as well. So just wanted to plug that for people. As I say, to be honest with you, it was my intention to get it completely done before today, but it's just not happened because I've not managed to clone myself yet. But
that's no problems, Mark. Look, 100%. I'd be delighted to get the website up, and I look forward to seeing it and to giving the wider international audience, a chance to see our pigeons and our family of pigeons. So I look forward to the launch of that, Mark. And thanks very much for having me on the show. I'm sure to be back on the show in the near future as well.
You will.
And as I said, I'll see you in the Algarve, and I'm sure a lot of the people watching will see us in the Algarve. Make sure you just come over and say hello. I'm looking forward to the weekend, and I'd just like to say the best of luck to everyone competing in the one-loft races the weekend, and I hope the winner is ourselves or somebody watching this show. So that's it.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for being on. Much appreciated. And a lot of people, I'm not going to read everybody out that's saying thank you and what a great interview it was, but there was lots of people saying exactly that. So thank you very much, mate, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.
Nice one. Thanks, Mark. See you soon, and see us in the Algarve, everyone.
Yeah, I'll catch you, man. See you later, mate. There you go, guys. Thank you for everybody that's been watching. I hope you enjoyed that interview. It gives you an insight into what he does, and I know how keen he was to be putting time back into the birds. That man dedicates a hell of a lot of time to those birds, and ultimately, like he said, you got to put 100% in to get 100% out, and that's what he does. And I think that's, in addition to the quality of the birds he's got, it's the dedication he's got to them that makes the difference as well. Which is really good. Couple of other quick things before we wrap up. There is on the 4th of October at the Sarsfield Pigeon Club in Dublin, quite possibly one of the largest collections of young bird and late breds from the King's Cup and National Winning Lofts in the room. There's going to be 60 lots, either a late bred in the pen or a promise of one or a pair of 2020 young birds. The reason for this is that Alan Larkin would like to recognise the sterling work carried out by a group of Welsh lads, a Cornish man, and our very own Frank Cullen, he says. They're responsible for the repatriations of thousands of lost Irish racers. Our aim is to bring the group to the INFC presentation night, prize night in Belfast, and give them a night out in Dublin. And any surplus monies will be split between the 4 charities of the organisers' choosing. There are some lineup of birds, and there have been some great names putting into that. There is an auction link which I will put out separately for that. So that's something that you should have a look at as well. So what else have we got to tell you about? Very quickly, I was mentioning earlier the Racing Pigeon Network. RacingPigeonNetwork.com is going to be launching very soon. That is going to be a social network just for pigeons. And I will be telling you more about that as well. If you haven't yet joined the Racing Pigeon International, the RPI Facebook group, you've been seeing it scroll down here all evening. Go and sign up to that, facebook.com/groups/Racing Pigeon International. We are now just about approaching 3,500 members, which is not bad in 6 weeks. It's a friendly place for anybody that wants to come and join, and we've got a lot of people in there getting involved. As I said earlier, if you haven't yet signed the YouTube channel for RPI, go to rpilinks.com/go/YouTube. One last thing to talk about is that on Thursday, the auction for the Who Dares Wins finalist birds is going to be going live on this Thursday, the 26th of September. The birds are live on rpiauctions.com. If you haven't yet signed up and registered, go and register at rpiauctions.com. We are going to be giving £100 auction credit to one random person that's come and signed up. There's about 200 people signed up already. But the Who Dares Wins final birds of the 2019 final, there are exactly 100 birds in the auction. There's going to be 20 birds a day auctioned off. All of the auctions will start at exactly the same time, but the first 20 will finish a week later, and then the next 20 a day later, so that we don't get too much traffic problems with people trying to bid on them. So they're all going to be live starting on Thursday at rpiauctions.com. And if you haven't yet registered, go at the link that I've just put in here and just go and register. It's dead simple, name and email address. Go and register, and we will be drawing out for £100 credit. Essentially, you can use the £100 to bid on any of the Who Dares Wins birds, and we'll be drawing that out. Realistically, won't be drawing out on 26th because I'll be flying, but we're drawing it on the 27th. So go and do that. But like I said, from Thursday 26th, Who Dares Wins this Thursday, those birds are going to be live. And RPI auctions, like I've said before, may have heard me say, may have not. I've got a lot of plans with it. I want to make it different. Eventually, I want to be interactive to where it's an online thing, but it's also offline as well. So you can actually view live remotely the birds before you bid on them. Got a lot of plans with it. And one of the big things I want to do is champion, promote, market around the world. UK. I'm not going to have continental birds on because I will, but I'm going to be really championing UK and Irish birds and getting out there to the rest of the world just how good these birds are. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. It's been a great show. I'm sure I hope you enjoyed it. I sure have myself. The replay of this will be out within the next 2 hours. It will be on YouTube as well. I will post the links to it. It'll be on racingpigioninternational.com tomorrow. And the replay of this you can go and catch on the Racing Pigeon Facebook page. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Be lucky. Have a great rest of your night and keep flying.